Hello, welcome to Sunny's Yoga. Today's vinyasa is an intermediate practice, but if you have been practicing at the beginner level, join us, challenge yourself. We're going to start in an easy seated pose, Sukhasana. Hands are going to come above your head and then drop them down, reaching for each side of the room at shoulder length. Your hands are going to, and your arms are going behind you some. As you bring your arms behind you, your shoulder blades should feel like they're coming together towards each other. Rest your hands upon your knees lightly and do some deep seated shoulder rolls. Make these count. Make them count. Let the rest of your body completely be relaxed as you focus on your shoulders, rolling forward and backward. Arms come up and we're going to go into a twist, seated twist. Looking towards the back of the room or behind your shoulder, hand is above your knee. Arms come above you, twist in the opposite direction. So my left hand, yes, opposite direction, out of your torso. Hands come above your knee, other hand is behind you. Breathe in and out of your nose. Come back around. Hands come at your hips. Rolling to the front. Moving towards the back of the mat. Going to walk down into puppy pose. Your hands are at the corners of the mat. Your feet are about hip distance. Now to give yourself an extra challenge, come up on to your fingertips as you continue to drop lower to the mat. I'm going to flow through into Sphinx. Your bottom half should be heavy, active, feet are active. Breathe, you're pressing into the mat. I'm going to go ahead and roll up. We're going to do a nice thread the needle. Only this one's going to have a bit more of a twist. After you thread your right arm through, pick up your left foot. Your bottom foot, anchor it to the floor. Your left hand helps roll you open. Foot comes down to meet the other, de-thread the needle. Immediately flow into the other side, left side. Now look at how I adjust. I make sure my neck will not get a crick. I make sure it's flush. My shoulders are getting that opening, and I'm giving myself an extra challenge by lifting my leg into the air. Focus and breathe. Come down, de-thread the needle. Beautiful job. Yes. Join me into fluid movements of cat and cow. Breathe out into cow. Breathe in for cat. When you breathe in and breathe out, make sure you're using your shoulders to really press your hands against the mat to give yourself that opening you deserve through your upper body. Lower body stays heavy. Feet against the mat. Breathe. Gonna roll myself up, walk towards the back of the mat. Head hangs heavy. Halfway lift, pressing my hands against my shins, walking myself out into plank, coming forward into chaturanga, dropping down into upward facing dog. Roll back up, go into downward facing dog. Adjusting here. Top part is trying to meet your bottom part. Yep, trying to sandwich it in. Walk towards the front of the mat. Hang heavy. Forward fold, shin, hands against your shins. Breathe in, breathe out. Step back into plank. Drop down into chaturanga and upward facing dog. Yes. Wear yourself over your toes into downward facing dog. Your top part of your body is reaching for the lower half of your body, walking towards the back of the room. Hang heavy. Make sure the weight is really going into the bottom ends of your feet. Truly, it makes a difference in your practice. Halfway lift, come up, mountain pose. Turning to facing you, feet are hip distance apart. And listen, we just did a lot of upper body work. Let's give our upper body some tension relief, flow back and forth. And as you do this, do deep exhales. You'd be surprised how relaxing that is. Palms face the front, come to standing in Tandasana. Hips go wider, feet go wider than hip distance. 5-pointed star, reach, and then come down into goddess. Now, when you come down into goddess, your bottom should go straight down. Do not come back up in a 5-pointed star. Come back down in a goddess. You want to avoid tilting your tailbone towards the back. It will bother your lower back. Back into 5-pointed star, binding my hands together, making sure my thumbs will be able to support my neck. Come down, lower half into goddess. Do an adjustment. Your feet should be 45 degrees up. Yes, I fell out of the asana. So I'm going to refocus, reset. Come straight down and slowly bend from your midline going towards the right, middle, and then go towards the left. This is all from your midline. It's very important that you stay in goddess in your bottom part of your body. Challenging, yes. Worth it, 100%. Your hips and your front body is getting a wonderful opening that you deserve. Breathe in and breathe out. Hands come just above your knees. Dropping down. Going to straighten out my legs. Hands are in alignment with my feet. Breathe. Going to go towards the front of the mat into a high lunge. Drop your back leg, flush it to the mat, come and bind your hands together above your knee. Looking past your drishti means looking past your nose into a certain spot. It could be the tiniest, smallest spot, but that's what will help keep you focused. Drop your hands in between. Both hands go in the inside of the foot. Foot comes out into lizard. The surprise is we're going to pick up our back knee and we're going to gently rock back and forth. Now, your bent knee that is in lizard is at a 45-degree angle rolling open. Your hips will love you. Let them continue to drop down. Back knee comes down. Now I'm going to bind my shoulder underneath my knee. Foot is in the middle and my hands are framing my foot. See? Breathe in, breathe out, come up out of that, come towards center, drop your head, wide-legged forward fold, arms come to 90 degrees, and walk yourself around. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Drop your knee down, hands come bind, top of your knee. Breathe. Let your hips drop open. Don't fight gravity, just let them drop open. Hands come down and the inside of my foot goes out. Pick up the back leg. And if you can, rock just a little bit back and forth. You don't need much to feel it in this asana. Trust me. But it's well worth the try. Or you can just stay still and breathe. Drop your knee down. I'm going to bind my arm underneath my bent knee. See? Bring my foot back up, my knee back up, and breathe. Binding is something that takes time to get used to, and it takes time for you to learn your body to learn how to bind. We're going to come through to wide-legged forward fold. Give yourself the time to grow into those asanas. I'll walk my feet in towards each other, roll myself up, hands on hips. We're going to do a slight vinyasa here. Nice flow. Warrior one, hands straight to the sky, facing the front. Now you notice that I guided my hips when I did that. Drop your arms down, shoulder distance. Warrior two. Extended side angle, elbow above your knee, hand straight in the air, looking beyond your hand to the sky. Make sure you're not going backward and not going forward. You want to stay even. Flow up into reverse warrior. Backhand is gently touching your leg in the back. Look above to your hands. Bind your hands together, open your shoulders, and slowly start to drop down into humble warrior. Now, mind you, this is slow. You don't need to move fast to go through this asana. Letting your hands drop open. Keep your hands bound as you come up. Hands up into warrior one. Hands on hips. Straighten out, going towards the front. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Going into warrior one, hands above. Then I did adjust my hips. Your back foot is going to be at a 45 or 90 degree angle. Let your hips drop down. Going into warrior two. Extended side angle. Again, you want to make sure you're straight up. Look towards the sky. Relax your shoulders. And breathe. Come up. Bind your hands together behind you at your lower back. Open your shoulders. Roll down into humble warrior. Let your hands bind together and drop as far as they're going to go. Slowly come up. Look towards the front. Bring your hands above your head. Warrior one. Reverse warrior. Looking at the top of your hand. Coming back towards the front. Hands on hips. I'm going to extend out of my hips into a deep forward fold. Bind the hands together and let your head and your hands drop towards the front of the room. Will they always drop directly in front of the room? No. And that's okay. That's not the point of a vinyasa or an asana. It's about the journey. Walk the feet in towards each other. Face the front of the mat. Hands go above the head. We're going to flow. We're going to open our hands wide, going towards the left. Slowly pick up your left leg and breathe. You have a slight bend in your right knee. Left foot comes down to meet the right. Arms come up above your head, and that's right. Tandasana. We're getting ready to go to the other side. Reset. Hands come above your head. Drop your shoulders. Open your hands wide. Gently, stay focused. Bring your right knee up and breathe. Right foot comes to meet the left. You did it. Yes. Arms above your head. Come down. Walking towards the middle of the mat. I'm going to extend out of my hips into forward fold. Let your head hang. Release your neck. Release your lower back. It feels lovely. Gonna bring my feet out a little bit further than hip distance, and I'm gonna bind. Oh, yes, you see me fall out of the asana. You're gonna watch me reset, breathe, focus, because what I don't want to do is hurt myself. But I'm also not going to give up. So I'm dropping my shoulder underneath my knee, binding my hands together. You can do a monkey grip. I'm a little bit past a monkey grip. Now, if you can pick up your foot. That day was not the day. So I'm on my tippy toes, but getting the full chest, upper body opening that I deserve, and so do you. Unbind slowly, let your head hang heavy, hands hang heavy. Breathe, because we're going off to the other side. Now I'm dropping my shoulder as I twist open so my hands can bind. This takes time and practice. I recommend a yoga strap, if you're just new to these types of binding. They will help guide and help your body open as you learn. Unbind, forward fold. I'm going to turn and face the front. My 2-piece fingers are going to wrap around my big toes. I'm going to let my head drop. Now, as I let my head drop, weight is in the bottom mounds of my feet, so I'm not going towards the back of the room, and then letting my arms, my elbows fall to each side of the room. This feels great. Hands come down. I'm going to move around. Breathe. Now you're going to come up on, yes, you're going to move forward a little bit with your hands, because you're going to come up on your tippy toes, and then you're going to roll down into a ball. Your hands will stay on the mat as you do this flow. Flow up, pike your hips, stay on your tippy toes this entire time. Roll slowly down into a ball. Using your drishti and your breath is very important as you do these asanas. They help keep you focused. Hips are piked, roll down onto your heels and roll yourself up slowly. Up. See, I lost a little balance there. That's okay. I'm going to do a standing forward split as I adjust my hand to make sure it's towards the corner of the mat and bring my arm up. This is a full front body opener. I make sure to keep my drishti going down towards the front, because on this day, me and balance were having a little bit of issues. Breathe in and breathe out. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Lift your right leg up. Slowly bring your right arm up. You can look down past your drishti or look up past your hand. This is a great full body front opener. Great hip opener. Hand comes down. Right foot meets the left, and roll yourself into a tiny ball. Tuck your chin. Really try to roll down. Then we're going to roll down to our bottoms. We're going to come to a butterfly variation. Feet come together. You're going to bring your hips towards your feet. Your right leg, your knee is going more towards the side of the room, but it's not flush to the mat. Hands are behind you to guide you. Come back through center. Now notice bringing my hips towards my feet, but my left knee is dropping open. It's able to focus on your individual hips instead of your hips together. You'll notice which one is tighter than the other. And we always have one that's tighter. Come down into seated. Feet flush to the mat, knees pointed to the sky. Hands are bound behind you. Lean back onto your hands some. Let your chest roll open. Bring your shoulders together. Release and roll down. Knees are bent. Now we're going to do a reverse kind of thread the needle. So I'm going to come down on my side and I'm going to bring my left arm straight out. I'm on my side. Right hand is going to come up and back behind. I'm going to bind my hands together and as a challenge, lift the left leg. Breathe. You want to make sure that your head is flush to the mat. Your shoulder is flush to the mat. Breathe in and breathe out. Bring your leg down. Slowly come out of your bind. Press your head down into reverse shavasana. Let your feet fall open at your ankles. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to reach my right arm towards the back of the room, coming onto my hips, resting my head. My hands are now bound and lifting my right leg. Breathe in and breathe out. These are slow, full breaths. Leg comes down. Release the bind. Roll over to forward shavasana. Rest your head, your forehead on top of your hands. Your hands are on one layered on top of the other. Slowly come up into locust. Feet are up. Raise your hands. Breathe and slowly come down. Forehead kisses the mat. This asana, it's important that you tuck your stomach and control your core so that it doesn't hurt. That takes time, effort, and practice. Come up and come back down. It took me a while to feel comfortable in my midline doing that asana. Come down on your forearms. We're going to come up into dolphin. Dolphin is amazing for your arms. It really is. Don't worry if your heels can't touch the ground. That's not always the point. We're going to go ahead and pedal out our legs a little bit while in dolphin. Go slow. Breathe. I'm going to slowly walk myself into forearm plank. Make sure your hips, back, everything's in alignment in this asana. I'm on my toes, slowly coming down, back into Sphinx. Bring myself up. Left foot comes through into half splits, Hamanasana prep. Just slowly let your body fold forward, come forward into low lunge and flow back into Hamanasana prep. Make sure your legs are at least hip distance apart. Come forward into lunge. And then I want you to twist from your midline, put your hand on your knee and look over your left shoulder. For an added challenge, lift the back leg up. Drop your knee. Bring your foot around, back into tabletop. And right foot up. Adjusting. See, I definitely was having a day. You're going to twist from your midline. I had to put my hand down. I needed the extra support that day, and that is okay. Foot was flat. We're going to flow. Hamanasana prep. Lunge. Hamanasana prep. Moving into forward lunge. My hands are framing my front foot. Pause. Hamanasana prep. When you do this, extend through your hips and allow your head just to bow down. Foot comes around to meet the other. I'm going to roll down into traditional balasana. which is child's pose, letting my shoulders roll open, hands are beside me, and my knees are together. Forehead kisses the mat. Roll up. You're in kneeling position now. Hands are going up towards the sky. I'm going to come down. Now we're going to do a tripod headstand. If you've not done this before, if you have not done inversions, watch and pay attention. It looks easy. I promise it's not. You want to protect your neck and have a complete triangle between your head. Your head is the point of the triangle, and your hands are facing your head. My knees are balancing on my elbows. They're going to watch me point my toes more up towards the ceiling and come down some at 90 degree. Roll back up and roll down. You must be very careful and mindful, moving with intention. Slowly come out, roll yourself up into kneeling, and go right back into traditional balasana. Let your shoulders fall open, literally like a book, going towards the ground. Roll yourself up, take a pause. Feet come from underneath you. Moving into Dandasana, hands come above your head and then meet you at your hips. Breathe in, breathe out. Grab a hold of your right foot and bring it up towards you. Straighten your leg. Now listen, you can have a bent knee here. That is more than perfectly fine. A micro bend, a deep bend. The point is that see if you can grab a hold of your foot. Release. Tandasana, right foot. Now notice how I bring it towards me and then I go and bring my heel towards the sky. It's the best way to flow in and out of this asana. There is a slight bend in my knee. It takes a lot of balance. Breathe, release Tandasana, staff pose. Flex your feet. I'm going to bring my right foot in. I'm going to overlap it, bring it on the outside of my left leg. I'm going to bind my arm around my knee, go look in towards the back of the room. You're twisting out of your midline, out from your core up. You're opening your shoulders. Every time you take a breath, you twist a little deeper. Arms come up. Going into half Gomukhasana, cow facing pose. My right knee is right atop of my left, and I'm going to extend out of my hips, grab my foot, and breathe. It's not about how far you can go down. It's about the journey of getting there. Please believe that. Bring yourself back up. Right foot meets left, and do the same thing. Bring your left foot in. Bring it on the outside and bind your hand around, cup your elbow around your knee. Now, as you do that and you're twisting, you're actually bringing your knee closer in towards you. As you're twisting, you're allowing your body to open more, looking towards the back of the room. Going into half Gomukhasana on the left, up and over, reaching for your feet. Even if you're just reaching, you are achieving. Know it. Believe it, because you are. It's a journey. Head comes down. Bring yourself up. Foot comes around to meet the right. Scoop myself towards the back of the mat and roll myself down. I'm going to bring my knees towards my upper body. I'm going to massage out the back, my lower back, by rocking back and forth. My chin is tucked in all of these asanas. My chin is tucked so my neck stays flat. With my peace fingers, I'm grabbing hold of my big toes and I'm going to go ahead and go into a V shape. My whole upper body is flush to the mat this time. Try not to have yourself lifting into your lower back. You want that to be flat. You want to focus on opening up your legs from all angles at this. Bring your feet back together, peace pose. Feet slowly come down to kiss the mat. Bring up your left foot, peace finger, bring it out. Now you want to make sure that your right knee is not going in or out. It's staying aligned with your hip. You're going to go into half baby. Hand comes around to the outside edge of your foot, and you're really trying to bring your knee towards your armpit, towards the outer part of your shoulder. Foot comes down, release. Do the same thing on the side. Peace finger. And we're going to guide our foot to go out. Bent knee is in alignment with our hip. Hand comes around for half baby, and breathe. You can have your other hand either resting on your thigh like I do or resting beside you. Let go. Foot comes down to meet the left. I'm going to rock and roll a little bit. This is great massaging out your back and really keeping your feet off the ground, and being on your hind parts takes a little bit. Moving into plow. Ear pinning pose. Breathe. Your hands are helping with balance. Make sure they're flush to the mat and out beside you. Going back into plow. Getting further into the asana. Back into ear pinning pose. Ear pinning pose, your knees are what is pinning your ears. This is a lot on your shoulders. I'm going to have my hands help guide me slowly into shoulder stance. Allow your hands to be your guide through this. I'm going to bring my left, this is half ear pinning pose, I suppose. Bring your right leg, knee is touching your nose, literally touching your nose. Flex your toes. Forever flex and point your toes, if you're comfortable with it that way. Left knee is down, kissing your face. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Come back up slowly. All these are slow, intentional movements. Roll yourself into a ball. Keep your knees bent. Remember not to hold your breath. Breathe in and breathe out very slowly. Now with control, roll yourself back up. Feet come down. Hands come beside you. I'm going to do half bind with my legs. I'm going to drop my legs over. This is supine twist. I'm going to drop my legs over towards the left. My arms are in cactus. Breathe in and breathe out. We are officially unwinding from everything we have done today. Bring your legs up, pause. Now you're going to bring your left foot up over and around your right. Drop down into the twist, going towards the right. Head and neck goes towards the left. Breathe in and out your nose. This is a great, when I say great for digestion, health, yes, I can tell you as someone with GERD, it definitely helps. Bring your legs back up. They're still bound. Unbind them. Ball yourself up. Grab the outer edges of your feet. Your nose kisses your knees. Breathe, 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 breathe. Let all the air out. Let it all out. Let it all out. Slowly let yourself come out of the asana. Feet come down, and we're going to windshield wiper slowly our legs back and forth. Let your knees gently kiss each side of the mat, right and then left. Let it be easy on your feet to just roll over, adjusting a little bit. That seems to be the theme of this practice. Now I'm going to do a different type of asana here. Bring your knees together and your feet are as wide as the mat. Let me say that the other way. Bring your feet as wide as the mat and bring your knees together like not kneed. Upper body, let your shoulders fall to the mat. Chin is slightly tucked. Now I'm going to adjust so that I can go into very comfortably into Shavasana. We have made it through this practice. Yes, we did. This was a beautiful vinyasa. And what I like most about it is I was able to share what happens when you have an at-home practice and you fall out of asanas or you're struggling through a particular vinyasa that you really would like to get through. I hope it lends you encouragement. I hope that you enjoyed it. Go ahead and flex and point your feet. Roll out your fingers and your wrists. Roll out your ankles. Come up. Come forward into Sukhasana where we started. Ah, what a vinyasa. Shoulders come up. Let them drop down. Thank you so much for joining my practice today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you gave it yourself a challenge. Your hands come into prayer. Breathe in and out of your nose and give yourself love, grace, and gratitude for everything that you did to take care of you today because you deserve it.